What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of In the Loop, Out the Mix. I'm your host, Jay's Two Cents. And I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I did not wake up feeling the best. And it's funny because last week I was talking about I wasn't feeling the best. I literally got a cold like shortly after recording that episode. And, the effects are still lingering. I'm still fighting it. Literally woke up, took a walk, took a shower, and now I'm here. I feel much better now. I feel much better now. Tangent aside, today's episode is going to be on social media and how it's stealing your joy. I want all of y'all to know I'm speaking mainly from personal experience, so take everything I say with a grain of salt because we're all different. We all have different experiences. So, yeah, that's my little disclaimer. Also, I'm no psychologist or doctor. Remember that. So take it with a grain of salt. I'm just a guy with an opinion. But it brings me to my first point. Social media isn't authentic. It's not based in reality. You only ever see what the poster wants you to see. So, if they want to show you the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly of their day, then in that case, it may be authentic. But majority of the time, that's not the case, at least from what I've seen. Most of the people I see online only ever post their highlights, and sometimes I literally fall into that category. I'm speaking to myself too. Okay, I'm not. All right, I'm speaking to myself too, y'all. So naturally, if most people are only ever showing their highlights, then most people aren't showing the bad stuff that they go through, the challenges that they face on their day-to-day basis, the struggles that they're going through, the tragedies that may fall upon them throughout their life. They don't share those things, and it's usually because when you go online to people who do share those things, especially TikTok, I see this a lot on TikTok. Like, people get clowned for it, which is kind of crazy to me. And it's funny because I have a little story on that. So a few weeks back, I was coming back from my grandma's funeral. It's crazy because I was also sick then. I had a cold. Like, what's up with me and having colds, y'all? Like, my immune system needs some work. Sheesh, need to take some vitamins. But I had a cold, and so driving back, I literally didn't want to be on the road. I had a headache. I was just trying to get home as fast as possible. So it's me and the little bro. We vibing. I got all the windows down and old reliable. I called her old reliable because she was old and reliable. Had a '08 Hyundai Sonata. So yeah, we're vibing. We're in the fast lane, and I'm doing like 85, something like that. Hey, it's the fast lane for a reason, y'all. I'm doing 85 in the fast lane. Wind is hitting. Windows was down. It was nice. Up until the point where my exit came up. So I had to start merging to the right to get off the highway. So as I'm merging, there's this other car. They're literally being a threat for no reason. So I had to speed up. I drive over, I speed up to get around them. I merge over one lane to the right. And all of a sudden, right after I merged, I just hear this loud poof sound. I'm like, what was that? It sounded like I blew a tire, but I knew that wasn't the case. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be able to drive the car. But I knew I had to come to a stop quickly. So I quickly start merging over to the right, and I get on the right shoulder. I stop, and because I'm on the right shoulder, I didn't get out the car. I tell my brother, I'm like, yo, bro, get out the car and check under the car to see if there's anything dripping. Because I forgot to mention, I looked at the dash, and I see the oil light is on. And I'm like, bro, there's no way. I told my brother, check under the car, and sure enough, there's a little puddle of black there's a little puddle of black oil just sitting there dripping out of my engine. I'm like, bruh. So I get out the car. I put all the windows up, of course. I get out the car, and then I call my dad, get the car towed to my uncle, who's a mechanic. He calls me 2 days later. He tells me, yeah, she's gone. The engine is done. And I'm just like, bruh, are you for real? Oh, reliable isn't reliable anymore. And I'm telling y'all this now because I wanted to tell that story on my socials, and I didn't. Why? Because like everybody else, I bought into the idea that I have to obtain this image. I have to seem like I have everything figured out and seem like I have everything together, especially as a man in 2024. Like, the narrative that I see mainly on my feed, I don't know about y'all, but on my feed, I get online and it's like, oh, if you're a young man and you're at this point in your life, if you're still doing this, then you're behind. You need to get your life together, this, that, and the third. So all of that, all of those different types of mixed messages, being bombarded with them all the time, it was stuff like that. Those thoughts like, oh, well, if I post this, people are going to think less of me. Like those type of fears that kept me from sharing it, which is exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, of course, if I shared it, I don't think people would have clowned me personally, but that thought process had been so ingrained in me that it kept me from sharing it at all. I'm glad I shared it down though. So when we follow that logic, how people get clowned for sharing their personal, authentic experiences in life online, social media goes from being a tool that we can use to connect with people around the world, connect with people that we're not near to, share our personal life stories and experiences with, to a platform where we're constantly performing for other people. And I heard this quote somewhere. I can't remember where exactly, but the person was saying something along the lines of, the person you see online isn't their authentic self. It's their representative. It's who they're portraying themselves to be for other people to view them a certain way. But it's not who they are authentically when they're alone by themselves. It's not who they are in reality. And at least in my experience, people usually don't share their authentic selves out of a fear of scrutiny, out of a fear of the clowning that I just talked about. And so, because they don't want to portray their authentic selves out of that fear, they portray the self that they think other people will gravitate towards, the self that they think other people want them to be, the self that they probably wish they were but aren't. And after a while of doing this, in my experience, it leads to major imposter syndrome. There's this term in psychology called cognitive dissonance. And the Google definition of cognitive dissonance is the discomfort a person feels when their behavior does not align with their values or beliefs. And I have another little quote from Lecrae. I was watching his podcast episode on the rap beef versus Kendrick and Drake. And he said that whenever you make anything like your ability or your body or your looks a part of your identity, they'll ultimately begin to crush you. They're going to crush you because they always have to measure up. Because when they don't measure up, now your identity and your value is worthless. This is something that I went through firsthand. I'm 21 years old. As a child, I was always overweight, and it started really when I was in second grade. And, you know, kids are kids. Like, they don't really have filters. So whenever it was time for me to get picked on, like, that was the first thing people went for. It was my size. And it tainted how I saw myself. So after growing up a little bit, graduating high school, back in 2021, I was my heaviest at 303 pounds. All right, y'all. I know I was a little heavy. That's tough. I was 303 pounds. And in 2022, I made the decision to, do what I can to change that. So I started hitting the gym consistently. And at the time, I had a torn meniscus. I still had a torn meniscus at this point. And so I would only hit upper body. And I saw pretty good results. Like, at my lowest, I was 213. And so from 303 to 213, it's 90 pounds, y'all. So woohoo to me. I was locked in, y'all. I was locked in. And it got to the point where I thought that I wanted to be a fitness influencer. So I started logging my journey. I started posting everything that I was doing in the gym, every day that I was in the gym. There was a point where I was in there 7 days a week. 7 days a week. I was committed, y'all. I was committed. And it got to the point where I plateaued. And at that point, I was just like, bro, what do I do? And that's the thing that I'm talking about. Because when I looked at other people online, they never showed they never showed the bad, I guess, the downs, I should say. The downs of the fitness journey. The days where you don't feel like going to the gym. The days where you don't feel like following your diet. The days where you eat over your macros. They don't show those. And so when it started happening to me, when I started losing the fire that I once had, the drive to keep going, to keep pushing, I didn't know what to do because it's not like anybody was sharing those experiences online. At least nobody in my feed. I'll say that. Nobody in my feed was doing it. So it's like, yo, I don't know what to do. And I basically ended up burning myself out. I stopped going to the gym and I literally disappeared from social media for a little minute because in my head, it got to the point where it's like, if I'm not in the gym, if I'm not following my diet, if I'm not living up to the stuff that I'm putting out online, who am I? I literally had like a little identity crisis in the middle of all this. To make matters worse, I plateaued because I wasn't even able to do full body workouts. I was only hitting upper body. And so when it came time for legs, I couldn't do legs because my knee would lock in the middle. Like my knee would lock after a certain extent. So legs was out of the option. I couldn't run because my knee would buckle when I ran. So I would just do like fast-paced cardio on the treadmill or just do stairs because I could do stairs. Stairs was like the one thing that I could do for legs. And I even put off the surgery. That's crazy to think about, but I put off getting my knee surgery done because, listen, right? Because if I got the knee surgery, I wouldn't be able to work out for a few months. Think about that. I was so caught up in like upholding that image that I put off getting the knee surgery after being consistent in the gym for so long because I didn't want to deal with getting back in the groove and getting out of the groove for the surgery. Like I didn't want to deal with that. That's crazy to think about. That's not everybody, but that's my experience. That's what I went through. And like looking back on it, that's so wild to me. Like, bro, what was I on? Like, was it really that deep? Like, was it really that deep? And that's where I learned, or I came to the realization that trying to uphold the image of that representative, it leads to frustration because it's one thing to convince other people to view you in a certain way by what you post online. It's one thing to have other people believe you're a certain version of yourself when all they see is what you're posting, what you're allowing them to see online. But it's something completely different when you start to believe that you're that person. The worst lies are the lies that we tell ourselves. So if you're so caught up with the image that you're portraying online to the point where you actually believe that you're that version of yourself that you're posting online, that's tough. Especially because I didn't even take into consideration the people who like Photoshop their photos and then post them online and have people thinking that they look a certain way and then they don't look like that in person. Like the people who, like I said, like they're always posting how they're so consistent in the gym and they never miss a workout. Yet behind closed doors, they hate their lives because of how much work they're doing and they hate what they do. Like it creates this internal struggle within because your true self, who you are in the real world, in reality, and your false self that you're portraying online for other people, they don't align. And if you believe that you're the false self, then you're constantly at war with yourself trying to be that self that you aren't. Are y'all following what I'm saying right now? Because I feel like I'm spitting. All right. When I came to that realization, I knew I had to do something. So what did I do? I did a few things. I ain't gonna lie. The first thing that I did was I unfollowed all the people that made me feel worse about myself. Because I don't know about y'all, but when I would get on social media following all those fitness influencers or following certain influencers in general, my mind would instantly go to, damn, why don't I look like that? Or when I would see a transformation video, like, dang, they did that in how many months? It's been like a year, bro, and I still haven't seen results like that. And that's another thing. Sometimes people have cap in their rap, especially as it relates to the fitness side of like influencing, like from photoshopping to the lying about their lifestyle. Like, so I would compare myself to where those people were, and it would make me feel worse about myself. And that's where I like realized how social media was stealing my joy and how it might be stealing yours too. Because if all I'm doing is comparing myself to where other people are and where I'm not, I literally miss out on all of the beauty of the journey that I'm on. Like me losing 90 pounds, I kid you not, I did not celebrate me losing 90 pounds. Because in my mind, I'm like, dang, I know I lost 90 pounds, but like, this is just the beginning. I got to keep on going. I got to keep going until I lose this amount. And it's so crazy because it's never enough. It's never enough. I could reach my weight goal today, and tomorrow I'm still going to wake up and be like, all right, well, what else can I do? Which is crazy. But yeah, like getting on social media and constantly comparing myself, I was tired of it. So I unfollowed all of those accounts. Next thing I did was I just stopped trying to maintain the image. Like, I was tired of being someone who I thought other people wanted me to be, or being someone who I thought I needed to be liked. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna just start being me, bro. I'm gonna start posting the stuff that I actually want to post and doing the things that I actually want to do on my platforms. And whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't, they can leave. And the last thing that I did, I just stopped checking social media as much, to the point where now I just have all the notifications turned off. And that last one, like turning the notifications off, it's more so about like this transition I'm doing of like making a podcast and promoting it and getting it out there. If y'all remember from episode 1, I did YouTube in high school, and I did YouTube for the wrong reasons. I wanted validation. I wanted attention. And because I have a better why, or I just have a why in general now, it's more than just about me. It's more about the people that I'm trying to reach. It's more about you listening right now. So I'm not going to do myself the disservice of constantly checking the metrics, constantly seeing whether the numbers have gone up, seeing if people have commented. Because when I did it in the past, it drove me crazy. When I would put hours upon hours of editing videos, to like editing my videos, and then it would get like 40 views, I would feel discouraged. Not to say that it can't happen now, but the fact that I don't check it as much, it's less likely to happen. And plus, I'm genuinely happy when I see that like I got one new viewer and I got one new comment and someone is like, oh, I really resonated with what you said. Stuff like that means a lot more to me than what I was chasing in the past. Because at the very least, I know that even if I helped one person out, that counts. So I just stopped checking social media as much. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna keep it real. At first, I hated doing it because FOMO is a real thing. FOMO is a real thing. I would ask myself questions like, what if I lose followers from being inactive or from showing who I really am online? Or what if I miss out on something? Or this is one that people, like, they ask this one a lot. They're like, what if someone needs to get in touch with me? What if it's an emergency? I'll answer those in a minute. And I noticed that the more that I stuck with it, with doing these things, the better that I felt. The more at peace I felt. I was free from constantly comparing myself with the next person, and freeing myself from those comparisons, or at least, because I'm gonna be real, like when I get on social media now, it's just as easy to continue to compare myself, but at the very least now I'm aware of it, and I'll catch myself and I'll be like, bro, let's get off, because at this point you're not even doing anything productive if all you're doing is scrolling and you're comparing yourself to where someone else is at. So just being aware and freeing myself from constantly comparing myself to other people, it freed me to enjoy where I'm at in my life right now. It freed me to enjoy the small wins. Like, since getting my surgery, y'all, I was literally playing with my fam on Monday, Memorial Day, this past Monday. I was playing with my fam, shooting around some basketball. We were playing hoops. And I like airballed a shot and I ran after the ball and I realized, yo, I'm jogging a little bit. Like, you know, I'm hitting a little jog, you feel me? And it's stuff like that, like little moments like that, that I get to enjoy now that I'm not so caught up with, I have to be this, I have to be doing this, or I have to work so I can get to where this person's at, you know? Because yes, I might not be where the next 21-year-old is. I might not have what the next 21-year-old has, but I have what I have and I can make the most of it. I can enjoy it, or I can continue to kick myself because I'm not where someone else is at. Yeah, I'm not going to keep doing that. No. All right. So, to answer those questions, right? What if you lose followers from taking a break or taking a pivot and starting to be more authentic in the stuff you post? My answer to that is, Okay, and if you lose followers, is it the end of the world? Are you gonna die because you lost followers? I mean, your ego might die. Granted, your ego might, suffer a little bruise, but are you gonna be physically hurt? No. Are you gonna get sick because you lost some followers? No. So if you don't take that break, like, come on, bro. At the end of the day, y'all, it's about you. If you just need a break, bro, if you just need to take a pivot in the type of content that you're posting online for the sake of your mental health, by all means, bro, please do it. Do it. Okay? Or what if you miss out on something? Because, social media is how we keep in touch with what's going on in culture. I understand that. But what if you miss out on something? You have something to talk about at the next function, at the next party you go to, next gathering, next time you meet with a friend. Be like, hey, what's going on in culture? That's something you get to look forward to. You don't always have to know what's going on. I know we in the loop and out the mix with it, but even I don't always know what's going on, okay? I don't always know what's going on. I have a general idea. But still, there's beauty in not knowing everything too. And the last one. What if someone needs to get in touch with you? I ain't gonna lie to you. If it's an emergency and that person doesn't have your number, should they really be reaching out to you anyway? It's social media, yo. If someone important to you needs to get in touch with you for any reason or any emergency, y'all should be close enough to the point where they at least have your number. So if you need to take a break and there's someone who you're cool with online who you think might reach out to you in that break, be like, hey, I'm about to take this break from social media. Here's my number. If you need anything, hit me up there. It's that simple. If anything, they'll appreciate the fact that you let them know. I know this because my friends literally told me, yo, I appreciate you letting me know. I'll be sure to reach out. Like, it's literally not that complicated. We make things complicated more than we need to. Okay, y'all? So, if anything I said today resonated with you and what you've gone through with social media and being online in general, please, by all means, I encourage you. Take that pivot. Take that break that you need. Take that post that you want to share and post it. Okay? However silly, however goofy it is, if it's something you actually want to post, if there's something you actually have to get off your chest and get online and say, get online and say it. Because at the end of the day, who cares? It's not the end of the world if everybody doesn't like it. All right? And I promise if you do this, I'm doing it right now with this podcast. If you do this, not only will you be more joyful, but you'll probably enjoy being online even more than you already do. Because ever since I made this pivot, now when I get online, I post what I post, man, I be chilling. I genuinely enjoy what I do now. I really do. Before I didn't, but now I do. And I don't know about y'all, but I can't relate to those people who get online and their life is always perfect. They never miss a workout in the week. They're always hitting their macros. They're always making sure they eat the right amount of calories every single day. Always going out to eat, always on vacation, but they never have any problems with money. I can relate to those people. And so if you feel the same way, don't be part of the problem, okay? Please. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, we're live on all major platforms. So to all the people watching on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe if you're new. To all my people listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please leave your boy 5 stars if you enjoyed the podcast. With all that being said, it's been your boy Jay, spreading his 2 cents, one pod at a time. Until next time, I'm Alka.